Hey y'all, welcome to Chaz's Lifestyle. Today we're making creamy Tuscan chicken. So first things first, let's take our 3 chicken breasts, make sure they're clean and very dry with like a paper towel or something like that. We're going to add some olive oil, and I'm just going to brush the olive oil on the top side. And this will help your seasonings to stick. And then after we're done seasoning it, we're going to place it in the refrigerator, let it marinate for a good 20 minutes. So I'm just using, I'm seasoning this up with some chili powder, and I'm also going to season it up with some garlic powder. And then I'm just going to take some onion powder, season that up as well with it, give it that amazing flavor. Last but not least, season with salt, some sea salt. Make sure you do it to your liking. I use that same brush to pat it in. Use some of that oil on that plate to rub on that chicken afterwards. This will help seal in those seasonings. Now I'm just going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same steps on the other side. Add some olive oil. Brush the olive oil all over the chicken. Season with some garlic powder, and I will have all the ingredients, of course, listed down below in the description box. So we're going to season with garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, and a little bit of sea salt. Like before, once we're done seasoning this up, we're just going to take our brush and brush that remaining olive oil that's on that plate. Brush it on that chicken to seal in those seasonings. And like I said, marinate it for a good 15-20 minutes. Now in a preheated pan, make sure it's non-stick. We're going to add in some olive oil and let that olive oil warm up. After your olive oil warms up, we're just going to place those chicken breasts right in that pan. Go ahead and preheat your oven for 400. I placed my chicken in the oven after I seared on each side, and it has a beautiful sear, just for a couple minutes. I would say about 5 to 6 minutes or 6 to 7 minutes, depending on how hot your oven gets, to ensure that the inside is cooked very well. Now after about 5 minutes, I just flip my chicken breast over. I'm using a medium-high heat. Look at that beautiful sear, and that is the key. That's why you want to use that oil and your seasoning how I did it, and brush it on there and marinate it, because it will create that beautiful crust. I'm just placing it on a baking sheet, and like I said, just throw it in the oven for about 6 to 7 minutes and just keep an eye on it. Check on the inside, make sure it's cooking. Now I'm taking that same pan, I cleaned it out a little bit, preheated it again, add in some fresh garlic, and then I'm going to add in our fresh spinach. And I'm going to saute this fresh spinach for about 3 minutes until it's softened up pretty well. Once the spinach is softened up, we're going to add in those sun-dried tomatoes. Give that a mix. Let that saute for about an additional 3 minutes, and then we're going to move on. Now after 3 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add in my heavy cream. And I do suggest using heavy cream, not milk not half and half heavy cream. Now, if you do use half and half, just put more cheese than I did basically. But trust me, half and half will make it that creamy, rich flavor. Mix that in, let that warm up. We're gonna go ahead and season this sauce with some garlic powder, onion powder, some paprika, some sazon, of course, for the color, and it has great flavor as well. Some sea salt and black pepper, and you can add anything else you want. Just make sure you taste as you go. Now whisking all those flavors together. Now I use a whisk because sometimes your seasonings can clump up, so that's a tip that I will give, is using a whisk. And then after that, you can go ahead and use your spoon. Now my sauce is warmed up pretty well. I'm going to continue to let it boil at a low temperature, let's say about a simmer. So now that it's boiling, we're going to add in our freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I do recommend this. It has more of a rich taste. It's very good. So we're going to mix that in, and we're just going to gradually add some as we go. So once that part is mixed in, we're going to go ahead and add some more. And I'm just checking here to see the thickness. Now, when you do turn off your stove towards the end, your sauce will thicken up even more. So just remember that before you add any more cheese. It might seem like, oh, it's liquidy, but trust me, this is a good amount. Now, once our sauce is pretty much done and our chicken is cooked, we're going to add in our chicken breast to the sauce, and we're going to let this simmer for an additional 5 minutes. You want those flavors from that sauce to just soak up in that chicken. I'm just drowning my chicken with this beautiful sauce with the spinach and sun-dried tomatoes. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so juicy, so flavorful, and just a rich, creamy flavor, And you can enjoy this with mashed potatoes. You can even make it with pasta. I have another recipe for pasta. Fettuccine, linguine, penne pasta, whatever you like. Look at that. So beautiful. Look at the colors. So light, so rich. Watch how tender this chicken is. Oh my gosh. You want a bite? I know you do. If you decide to recreate this dish, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chaz's Cuisines.